Today's lesson will include some of the most common words that you'll meet in your travels to Ireland and have to do with everyday events that might take place. So we'll start off with the bathrooms because that's a big deal for people traveling to a new country. Men and women will appear sometimes as caricatures on doors, but sometimes you'll see the word fir for men and mana for women. And so fir is the plural of far, which is man, and mana is the plural of woman, which is ban in Irish. And again, you're going to have that epenthetic sound, mana. It sounds like two syllables, but it's just one. And together they would be, sometimes you'll see the word toilet, which is leithreas, Leithreas. So that'll take care of the common stuff you'll see in most hotels and most bars and most shopping malls and stuff. You'll see the fir and all. I think that's probably what you'll end up with. When something is open, tá sé oscailte. So maybe the shop is opened. More likely you'll see the word dúnta if it's closed. But if it's open, it's either going to have the word open or oscailte, depending on what part of the country you're in. And sometimes when you're getting off the freeway, you'll see a sign and it'll say Slíamach. Slíamach, if you're driving, which again is the way out. And again, if something is closed on the freeway, they'll say Dúnta, or the word closed will show up. When you get off the freeway and you need to find a parking spot, you may see signs for Parkall. P-A-I-R-C-E-A-I-L, Parkall. And that'll take you to, and sometimes even it might have a close, C-L-O-F-I-S, which will mean a parking lot. And in many cities they have numbers up on the walls in front of the sign that tells you how many spaces are still available. But that's only in the bigger cities. Tourist info is, you'll probably see the tourist office, but there'll probably be the Irish word kicked in there as well. So information is fashnaish, and then for the tourist, the tourasóireachta. The word tourist is travel, and the tourasóir is the traveller, which is you, the tourist. Tourasóireacht. Fashnaish the tourasóireacht would be the information for the tourists, and you'll probably see that alongside the English sign in some of the cities as well. If something is out of service, and that can happen because of storms or something like that, you can have as, which is out of, and then service. Remember that the E makes the S and SH, and the B H is a V. As service, out of service, almost the same thing. If you're in Ireland for a few weeks or a few days even, you'll probably notice that a lot of words have the same starting, same beginnings, and sometimes they feel like, oh my goodness, why is everything got a bally in it? Why is there a lock in this or inish in that? And so we'll just take a quick look at the reason for some of the words and what they mean and where they come from. We start off with the word bally, because bally's in probably half of the Irish names you'll come across. Bally McCarthy, bally something, bally that. And it comes from the Irish word baile, which means home. So if you're going to have a homeland or a townland or any of those things that have to do with places, you're going to have the word bally attached to it, and it really means home. So whatever comes afterwards will give you some more meaning. Like Ballymahan would be Mahan's home, Ballymacarbery would be the Macarbery's home, Ballymccarthy would be the Carthy's home. And this one here, Dún, comes from the word dún, and dún is the old Irish word for a fortress. So if you've got some place that you have protected with a big wall or a fence or a gate or something like a mound or a moat, then that's the fortress. So you'll have Dún Angus, you'll have Dún Queen, you'll have Dún Mahon. My dad's house was called Dún Mahon because he wanted to have a fortress there, and he had a gate and he built pillars and he locked us all in to keep us safe, and we liked that. And then this one here, Loch Ray, Loch Island, Loch, all kinds of things, and it comes from the word loch, which is a lake. And then the Inish, you'll see that everywhere, including Innis, the town itself. You'll have Inish Key, Inish, lots of different Inishes, Loch Inish, Moy Inish, and you'll find out very quickly that when you've got, especially downriver where there's a lot of floodplains, you'll have this, it has to do with a place that's liable for flooding. And that's a lot of the river systems in Ireland. The bottom ends of them will have a lot of flooding. So it comes, I should have done it the other way around. It comes from the word Inish, and it means flood or flooding, the liable for flooding. And this next one has like Slieve Gallenbray or Slieve Bloom or Slieve something else, has to do with the word Slieve. And that word Slieve comes from mountain. So if you've got a town near a mountain, you'll probably have the word mountain in it. Slieve Bloom, Slieve Gal, Slieve Mish, Slieve lots of things. And next one in we have Balya, and then on. So what's happened here, you've got Bally, which was for town, and this was Ballymacarbery or Ballymccarthy. But if you had the town of something, then you have Balya on, and this is, we'll say, the town of Ballynerterig. The family of the Erterigs had this town, so that's their town. And again, it's got to do with the name of the people. Balya on, it's the Irish part of it is the genitive case of the ownership thing, which is the town of a certain place. It's a townland. Well, let's put townland in here. And townland is common everywhere. And again, the last word that I'm going to work on is called Farran, and that comes from the word Farran. And Farran is a piece of land. It's the Gaelic word for a piece of land. Usually flat land, whereas this one up here was mountainy land, this was wetland, this was a lake. So there's a lot of geography involved with in describing places, piece of land. Because you'll also, I could add one more, but I probably shouldn't. But the word I was going to add would be drum, D-R-O-M, and that's the shape that when you look at the, let's say, the cow's back or the horse's back or the pig's back, the shape of the land. So if the land looks like that, it comes from drum, which means back. And it could be, you know, drum small or drum sagart or something else. And it's just telling you that the land looks like the back of something. So we look at the pieces of geography as descriptions of what we see, what we think we see. And they have real meanings in terms of climate and geography and all of that stuff. So you'll see a lot of these words as you're driving around and when you visit people and talk, and have fun with them, because you know they don't realize, because they're so used to living it, but you coming from the outside will be able to bring a lot of new information and say, oh, this town is called after that lake over there, and they'll say, this woman has been out too far in the night time. Slán Abhaile.